All right. Dallas Cowboys did not look good. And I want to know why. Everybody is entitled to an off week, just a mystifyingly bad game. Just where we walk away like, woof. Now, I to be fair, I thought last week was the game that would fit that description for the Bills. 3-3 at the half with Miami, and then they come back and they mess around and lose to the Jaguars. So maybe good teams are afforded too. I don't know. We could attribute part of this, I'm sure, to Dak's rustiness, but I think you got to look at the head coach a lot here, Teak. I mean, I didn't play, so I can't say definitively they weren't ready to play.
Yeah.
My eyes kind of told me that. Before we hear from McCarthy, what did your eyes tell you? They didn't look like they were really ready.
It felt like they were playing a team that they knew that they were going to beat.
Okay, then that's on the head coach.
Denver, I mean, we even said this last week, but what the hell do we know? We're sitting in a studio, hundreds of thousands, 1,000 miles away from Denver, Colorado. They trade Von Miller.
That's right.
And I remember we said this last week. They're cashing it in. They don't necessarily have their quarterback. They got a couple good players here and there. Tim Patrick's really good.
He's going to be a very good player.
Absolutely. KJ Hamler, even though he's hurt. Like, they got some future.
Yeah.
But this team is not ready to play.
Good tight end.
They're just getting some assets for next season. Mm-hmm. They came out and balled. And it felt like the Cowboys at home were saying the same thing we were thinking. Right? Denver's not. They're laying down. They don't really care. And they came out flat. And you could tell they were flat, BT, when in the first drive, they go for it on fourth down. Mm-hmm. And on the second drive, they go for it on fourth down, deep in, obviously, Denver territory. But they get stoned both times. The second time, the Denver Broncos turn around and march 80 yards back for the first touchdown of the game. I think it was Melvin Gordon run. And then the route was on. Right, so if it's 4th and 1, and you think you're a dominant team, and you're not, and the head coach is like, I'm going to force these guys into being a dominant team by going for it on fourth down. Maybe that'll galvanize them. Yeah,
kind of jumpstart something. I can understand that.
And then you get stoned.
That has a more deflating impact than punting.
Right.
Than punting.
That's exactly right.
Or going for a field goal.
Kicking the field goal.
Yeah, absolutely.
All they do is kick the field goal.
For sure.
Like it was deflating, and it picked up steam from there. They never were able to turn this thing around. Part of it, I think, is Dak was compromised. He can't really move that well. It's not like he was hurt. I'm not saying he's hurt, but he couldn't move that well.
Yeah.
He was inaccurate with his throws.
Very much so.
His feet weren't ever set, right? 48% completion percentage. You see it there, 19 of 39. They probably should have taken your advice from a week ago.
Yes.
And apply it again this week and let him sit down because he didn't look right.
He didn't look right. And to be fair, and again, we'll see if this turns into the outlier or if this is now the beginning of a new evaluation period for the Cowboys. And it doesn't make any sense to really have any bold declarations now. It's one bad game and their quarterback was rusty. But they also had two of their stars who almost didn't play. CeeDee Lamb almost didn't play. Amari Cooper almost didn't play. So maybe it's just the perfect storm in the wrong direction, and that's really ultimately all that it is. But let's hear from the coach. Coming off a monster win, why the letdown? Here's McCarthy.
Had concern Wednesday, as far as, the way we've come off some successful weeks, and, the message was don't take the cheese, and frankly, we were outcoached, we were outplayed all the way through. So this is the first time I felt clearly our energy didn't exceed our opponent, and that's disappointing.
Listen, I'll be honest with you. In football, it's a lot tougher to identify this, and you watch the NBA enough, you'll see if there's a team that's just not ready, if their transition defense is, very what if flip a coin.
They're lazy.
Not boxing out. Not that NBA players are necessarily diving on the floor for loose balls, but
like running out these three-pointer, just kind of like doing this as opposed to running out and trying to. Yeah, I hear you.
You can identify if that team is playing with the integrity required, right?
Yep.
Okay, football's tougher because it very rarely, unless you guys see a guy bail out on a tackle, make a business decision, which does happen on occasion. I can't necessarily delineate from yesterday's game. Was it a lack of focus? Was it a lack of detail? Was it from the coaching staff? Was it a lack of preparation? Was it a lack of accountability? And so I don't know the answer to that. But to me, I think it would be very disingenuous, Tiki, to get on the air I think you're with me.
Yeah.
To get on the air after lauding the Cowboys and propelling them over a month ago into the Super Bowl conversation to take one game when a lot of good teams around the NFL have had a lot of bad games.
There's been a lot of bad
I'm not burying Dallas. I believe Dallas will bounce back big time.
No, you can't bury Dallas. By the way, there's been a lot of bad games by a lot of good teams this season.
Just yesterday.
Just the dogs. The The Giants.
Yeah.
I mean, not that they
Told
played.
you they were going to
not that
play
they,
well
yeah,
against
you did,
the Raiders.
You did. Not that they played great, but the Raiders laid an absolute egg.
Now, Derek Carr had a rough day.
Really rough day. He had a throw to Darren Waller that was, and I say this facetiously sometimes, but literally you could have thrown it and made it and scored a touchdown because the defender was caught behind like traffic.
I know which one you're talking about.
He was in chase mode by 6 yards.
Yep.
Derek Carr sailed it through the end zone.
You just get that. That's an easy throw.
The back of the end zone.
I don't know if I'm making that with anybody in my face, but if nobody's in my face, I can make the throw. No, but I'm saying like any bodies around me at all.
I mean, it was the easiest throw any quarterback will ever have in their life. Your tight end, who's your best receiving threat, is running clean into the end zone, and you got plenty of space inside, outside. There's nobody there to defend it. He missed it by a mile. So I think we've seen a couple of teams get upset because either they're not ready to play or the guy that they're counting on just has a bad day at the wrong time, and the other team is opportunistic, like the Giants were. But for me, when I look at the Cowboys, I'm not counting them out.
Nope.
Again, I think Dak was more compromised than he probably will ever let on. But it just feels like any Sunday this year, if you don't have your A game, even the bad teams can beat you.
The Jets beat the Titans and the Bengals.
That's exactly right. Two of the best teams in
Jaguars
football.
just beat the Bills.
That's exactly right.
Crazy.
It is crazy this year. And again, like you said in the first segment, if you're going to gamble, be careful.
Yeah, be careful. Be careful.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell to be notified when we drop fresh content.